have a PENN Pursuit 2 8000. It's a PENN spinner reel. So I went to mysticparts.com and I found them through Google search. But if you come here to the order PENN parts on the left side, go to spinning reel parts. Everything's in alphabetical order, so I just scrolled all the way down to PENN Pursuit. And here you have, see here it is, second generation, and then the 8000 model. I clicked the order parts. Then I had already taken apart my reel, so I knew what I needed. I needed a main gear, which is here. And what's really cool is they have a picture and approximate dimensions. It'll have the part numbers, and it's $5.85 each. So I got me one of those, so say $6. And then the other part that I needed was the Crosswind Gear. So I didn't know the name of it, but I clicked on whatever said gear, and then I eventually came across the Crosswind Gear. And because it has a picture, I was able to identify the part. $3.40. So I spent about $9 something, I think, on the parts, and then about $6 on the shipping. So I think it was about $16 shipped from them, which is in New Jersey, and then I'm in Hawaii. So about 4 days or so, $16. I was able to save myself from having to buy a $60, $70, whatever, $80 reel to replace this. So I really liked the website. It was really easy to use. I was able to fix my fishing reel, and I've never done it before. And thanks to them, I'll be able to go out fishing again. Alright, YouTube. So I have a PENN Pursuit 800 or 8000, PENN Pursuit 8000 fishing reel. It's a spinner reel. It's the second generation. So I guess the internals were corroded, the main gear and the crosswind gear. That's what allows the spool to go up and down as you're reeling in. So you can see how the function should go up and down, but because some of the teeth are corroded, you can hear the teeth aren't making contact. I think I lost a couple teeth there. So I took it apart, found the parts I needed on a website called mysticparts.com website, and I've never done a repair before, and I was able to fix this, so I figured I might as well do a video and show others in case they want to try this. So here we go. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to do this as quick as I can. We're going to tear this down. Take off my spool. So you can see how this main shaft doesn't go up and down. It goes up, but then there's not enough teeth there, so it's not able to continue. Alright, so we're going to take off the crank arm. Now there's 4 screws here that hold the side cover on to the case, which is the like number 2 Phillips screws. This side cover kind of just lifts up. If you can pull it up straight up, it's the best. Now you can see how I didn't do a good job at cleaning down and rinsing out from the salt water, and so the salt water corroded it. So it is my fault for this to happen. This is the main gear. So this one pulls straight up and it goes into a bearing. So I did tear this apart so I could figure out what parts I needed, so I could order it ahead of time before doing the video. So this is your main gear. So see how that corroded, right? And then this is your crosswind gear That's the gear that is driven by the main gear with these teeth here. These smaller teeth here are the ones that, as this turns, it drives the crosswing. So as you crank your arm, these gears will drive the spool, and then the smaller gears will drive the crosswind gear, which pushes it up and down, which allows for the travel to go up and down. So there's 2 screws here. You're gonna have to take those off. Those are like a number 1 Phillips. Just make sure you don't lose these screws, so they will be hard to find at a hardware store. Alright, so now that I got those 2 screws removed, let's see if I can focus this a little better. Now that I have that removed, if I were to pull this main shaft all the way up, it comes right out. Now this linkage here, I can pull out. You can see how there's like a little nipple there. So that nipple travels within this crank, this attachment. So as this goes around and around, this linkage will pull the main shaft up and down as well. Alright, so now that I got that removed, now your main can go up and down properly. So I'll keep that out. Then I will remove this crosswind gear, just 1 screw holding it down. And then the sucker will just pop right up and pull right out. It's just screwed down to the actual housing itself. So now here you can see how, because of the corrosion from me not cleaning out thoroughly, the teeth on the crosswind gear, right, are turned by the main gear, which allows this nipple to go up and down, and the linkage will go up and down with it, right? So that's your main gear and your crosswind gear. Now, I didn't realize this, but in the crosswind gear there is a little bushing. It's this metal bushing here. You can push this sucker out. If it doesn't, then what I found was I just found this little cap end that's hollow, that's big enough to catch the outer edges of this crosswind gear, which allows the bushing to fall out. I was able to find that. And then if you put it on a surface, and I'm gonna throw this out anyway, so the main gear. So this main gear can put it right on top of the bushing. And then it pops right out. So main gear and the crosswind gear are being thrown out. I need this bushing. So this is from Mystic Parts. It was a really nice website, so I wanted to give them a shout out. Packaged nicely. Here's the main gear and the crosswind gear. Right? So all we're going to do is go in the reverse order. So this crosswind gear needs that pushing. You're going to want to make sure you place that in straight. And that spins nice and smooth now too. Okay, so we're just gonna reassemble in the reverse order. Just sneak this crosswind gear down there. Number 2 Phillips screw. Pull the main shaft. Now remember, now there is a flat side to that main shaft where it slides into the linkage. So I'll pull that out, just enough for clearance. And then I'll take my linkage. There is a flat side here. That one's supposed to be next to the case. So I set that on there. I do want to put some grease in here, so I found some marine grease from the hardware store. Or actually, I found it at an auto parts store. So I'm just gonna put some of this marine bearing grease in here. Should also help prevent from corrosion. All right, so I put that up. Take the linkage again. All right, so the flat side that rides along the case goes on that side. Main shaft. And you can see how the main shaft will slide in, bottoms out. Okay, and then the reverse order, just put the 2 screws back in it. I always like to start both screws before I tighten them down, just to make sure everything settles when you tighten them down and you don't get any pinching. So now, just make sure everything spins freely. Now I want to drop this main shaft down. If I were to take, if you see how I turned the crosswind gear, you see how now that linkage works. So this main shaft gear is able to go up and down when it's attached properly, and that linkage is sitting over that nipple inside the channel. Okay. Now we're just gonna go in the reverse order, right? Put a little bit of grease on my gears. And just make sure when you push this in, it goes all the way down. So that's not down yet. And make sure you push it in straight in as possible, and it should sit all the way down. Alright. So now, if you watch when I turn the spool, right, you can see how the main gear turns and drives the crosswind gear. And you'll see how this main shaft spool goes up and down properly now. Okay? I'll just put some grease in here just to help prevent corrosion. Now here, this is a thrust washer. So we'll put some grease. If you really want to do a nice, clean, thorough job, you could always sandblast and take some Scotch-Brite to it and polish it up. That just goes back on. Four screws. Nice and snug. Gonna put my crank arm back in. Put the spool back on. Now when we test it, we can see how the spool works now. You hear how the teeth aren't getting caught up. And just like that, for about $16 with the shipping, I was able to salvage my fishing reel, which would have cost about $70 to $80 to replace. So I hope this helps you. I'll put all the links below, so if you do have this issue, hopefully it works out for you. And like I said, the Mystic website is really good and easy to navigate through. Thanks for watching, guys.